So it's been a whole year since we did our beginner series on the grocery store mead. This came out to 12% and 1.030 final gravity. So this is considered pretty sweet, but this was a very, very basic mead to make. All grocery store ingredients. Today we're gonna judge it and rate it and give it a score. Okay.
So first up on our score sheet is appearance.
Yes. It's beautiful.
It is beautiful.
There are, like in the bottle, there's a little bit of stuff floating around, and that's just lees or whatever that gets up into it. I don't consider that too much of a problem, but it does prevent me from giving it an absolutely perfect score.
Yeah.
We don't filter our brews or anything like that, so...
I love the color. It's that perfect...
Oh, yeah. It has the exact right color.
Mead color.
Yep. Looks like a mead.
Yep. All right, so...
Somehow I got ink on my finger already.
Yeah, the pen.
Okay. Next up is aroma. Now, when it comes to aroma, we're looking for good smells and bad smells. You know, is there anything that you don't want coming off of it? Is there anything you do want? I get a little, like a caramely kind of note.
You get some floral notes.
Yep, definitely the honey character coming through on here.
That was pure honey, that last smell.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Very mild ethanol or alcohol smell. Like, you know, it's not like it's overpowering or anything. You can tell it's there. I mean, it's 12%, you know? Yeah, lovely smell. A little bit of a caramel, like a slight boucher, very, very minimal boucher smell. But really good overall character on the whole thing. Really, really nice. Don't worry, we're going to reveal all of our scores at the end. You're going to get to see our scorecards. The way we do it, though, is appearance gets a 1 through 5. Aroma also gets a 1 through 5. And the next two, which the first is taste, gets a 1 through 10. So that way, they're kind of weighted. And at the end, we average it out, and you get a score on a 1 through 10, if you've seen these before. Next up is taste. Now, if you've watched our old tasting videos, this is probably the one aspect that's the closest. Like, if you took what we put on there then, that's probably the closest to what this is. That is rich and mouth-filling with just the right amount of tannin to keep it from being too cloying or too sweet.
Yeah.
There's a good acid profile. It's a little sweet. It's a little on the sweet side.
It is a little sweet, but there have been plenty of times, particularly if you're new to the world of mead and you get a dry mead, it can be mentally conflicting because you're not reading honey. This, you're definitely reading honey.
Yeah.
And even the typical slightly bitter end note of fermented honey is softened and rounded out by the back sweetening. I still get it, but it's like pushed farther down the road.
Yeah.
So it minimizes it significantly.
We said it when we were making this. If you've never had mead before, this is actually a really good example of what mead could taste like.
Yeah.
There's commercial brands out there that are sweet, and some of them are sweeter than this. They don't quite have the character of this, though. This is like rich and just, this makes you think mead. You know, it doesn't come across like a white wine or anything like that. It's its own thing as a mead.
It does have slight white wine notes, so it's not like you're just drinking honey water.
Oh, yeah.
It's certainly more complex.
Yeah, there's still definitely some of the acids coming through from the fermentation process and from, just the flavors in general. It's really good, okay? It's really good. It is 1.030 on sweetness. I don't think it tastes quite that sweet. So there is a little bit of good there. That's the acids and tannins playing off of each other with the sweetness levels. It doesn't taste quite that sweet, but it's sweet.
It has a lovely velvety texture to it as well, which makes me want to kind of enjoy it and take my time with it. Where some things are just like, oh, this is good, chug, chug, chug.
Yeah.
This is like, oh, it's good, but oh, it feels nice too.
Yeah, it's a lovely experience with this one. That's what it really comes down to. Okay, and then the last score is intent. Now, when it comes to intent, it is a couple things. First, did we achieve what we wanted from the brew? Like, we set out to make a mead from grocery store ingredients, and of course we did. The other one is, if I hand a glass of this to someone and say, here's a mead, do they recognize it as a mead? I would say, yeah. We pretty much nailed it on both aspects to intent, so I'm not really questioning that one all that much. Do you have anything else that you want to add to the notes?
I'm getting a very slight citrus, almost a lemony.
Yeah, because I think we put orange zest in it.
Could be.
Yeah, we intentionally don't check the records of the video before we taste these, so that way we're just as surprised as you are.
But that helps with the balance, because you want the sweetness, you want the base underlying flavor, and then you want a little punch of acidity and tannin, normally not parallel and balance, but so that the combination of those three aspects are working well together. This, I think, is doing a fantastic job of playing off those three things. I'm getting a nice mouthfeel. It doesn't feel watery at all, so I know the tannins are right. I'm getting a great sweetness that is definitely reading honey, which is perfect because this is a mead, and it should have that, oh, this is honey. You shouldn't have to search for the honey in a mead,
Right.
in my opinion.
Even a dry mead, you should still note a honey character.
Right. And then the little citrus pop in there is cutting off the sweetness, so it's not just like, oh,
Right.
it's just sweet, sweet, sweet. No, it's all coming around. So
The little bit of ethanol, it's not a burn at all, but it does kind of help to work with the acidity to tone down that sweetness just a little bit. Really mellowed beautifully well. I remember liking this when it was young, but
yeah,
it's gotten better with age.
and I think this is a perfect example of our original ethos as becoming homebrewers, is that you can find the ingredients and you can make it. You don't have to do you must do this.
Yeah.
What you must do
Yeah, this was off the shelf honey.
is ferment sugar.
We just used bread yeast and no nutrients as far as I remember, because there's no nutrients in our grocery store. So yeah, it was a pretty simple thing. But anyway, now we're going to tabulate our scores and be back with you in just a second. Okay, we have scores. Are you ready with your score?
I am ready.
Are you sure?
I am.
You're positive?
I'm positive.
All right. 1, 2, 3, 9.3.
I couldn't knock any of it. I loved every part of it. I loved the appearance, I loved the aroma, and I obviously loved the flavor.
I knocked it 1 point. I'm showing you guys our scorecards at this point. I knocked it 1 point on appearance because, let me see if I can show you from the overhead camera. I don't know how well you can see into that bottle, but there are little like floaty bits in there, and that's just lees that didn't actually come out of suspension. And that's why I had to ding it 1 point for appearance. Other than that, I gave it a perfect score, except for flavor.
What did you not like about the flavor?
It's too sweet.
It's too sweet.
I said it's just a little bit too sweet. If this was like a 10-20 or something, I'd probably like it that much more. I don't hate it. I just think for what this was, it's a little on the sweet side.
All right.
So I couldn't give it a 10. That's all. Funny, I'm the picky one now.
Yeah.
She used to be the one that was tough on scores.
Who knows?
Anyway, this came out wonderful. I still wholeheartedly recommend this recipe for anyone that wants to, get their feet wet with making mead.
Sure, and it's a great recipe because there's no specialized ingredients. You can get these things literally from your grocery store.
Yeah. So anyway, make this mead. And as always, guys, thank you so much for watching and have a great day.
Bye-bye.